are going to take up Representative Anderson's CS for HB 1267 regarding economic self-sufficiency. Representative Anderson, you are recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, in Florida, we invest a lot of state and federal funding into what I call an alphabet soup of programs. We have SNAP, TCA, SR, E&T, to name a few. And the goal of all these programs is to help families become economically self-sufficient to produce the best possible outcomes for their children. But sadly, most families in these programs don't actually reach self-sufficiency. We see a lot of folks graduate from receiving TCA and return a few months later. Many even stay on these programs for years. Some actually never get off, which is enabling a generational cycle of poverty. For example, only 1/3 of those that are participating in food assistance, TCA, or Medicaid in 2017 had exited the programs for at least 6 months by 2021. More than 40% of the families that are participating in the school readiness program have done so for 12 months or more. And just under half of the TCA participants who exit the program when they start earning a higher income come back on the program every single month. There's a lot of reasons why families are not reaching economic self-sufficiencies. One of the reasons is childcare, transportation. Some of them don't even have high school diplomas. So while we have a number of robust programs in the state to help these families, that's actually not happening in most cases. And one of the biggest issues is the benefit cliff. So sometimes a very small increase in income can result in an individual losing a very sizable amount of their benefits, including their entire child care subsidy. So for a single mom, without that child care subsidy, they can't go to work, but without the job, they can't become economically self-sufficient. So this bill seeks to maximize the effectiveness of our benefit programs with a focus on benefit cliffs, and it does this in a few ways. So first, it standardizes the intake and discharge assessments for the various programs and requires DCF to report their findings to the legislature annually. It allows GED classes to count as one of the allowable activities for adults receiving TCA. It requires adult SNAP recipients to participate in education and training programs so they can advance their careers. It provides case management services and requires the use of a Cliff Navigator tool when local workforce boards are working with families so they can receive individually tailored information about possible benefit cliffs that they might be exposed to. And then finally, it addresses the benefit cliff for the school readiness program by extending eligibility based on state standards in place of the current arbitrary federal standards, and it replaces the cliff with an off-ramp so participants can become more securely advancing their careers. Mr. Chair, that is.
Okay, members, questions on the bill. Representative Hart, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I heard you call out child care and transportation. Are we doing something that would allow an individual to slowly transition from the program? Because child care is why people get right off and go back. It is so expensive. It's like $200 a child per week. So I was just wondering if we're going to kind of do some kind of a sliding scale to allow DCF to allow people to kind of transition off as opposed to, I got a job and you drop them.
I think you'll like Representative Anderson's answer. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Rep, for that question. That is exactly what I'm talking about when I say replacing the benefit cliff with an off-ramp. So this new standalone program that will stand next to the current program that extends eligibility. Well, I shouldn't say that. The eligibility is the same, but it extends benefits for a longer period of time on a graduated scale. So as income rises, benefits decrease until they go to zero.
Additional questions?
Good.
All right, seeing none, we have no amendments. You have a couple people. Marty Coley, representing Florida Workforce Development Association, is a proponent of the bill. Waves in support. And Mindy Aguirre, representing the Florida PTA, waves in support. Members, anyone wishing to debate? Representative Trabulsi, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess this is going to be my day to talk.
Hey, the role of Randy will be played by someone else, so go ahead.
That's right. He's so sad about that. Representative Anderson, this is a great bill. I am so excited about it because the Florida Chamber put out a report on the economic impact of the affordability of child care in our state and how it just affects our working families. And what you're doing with this approach is really going to help parents be able to increase their income and their sustainability and yet glide right off. Last year, we ran a bill similar to this as it relates to Florida Kid Care and insurance for children, and this just falls right in suit. As you know, there's another bill that's going through the House that addresses the eligibility and reimbursement rates on the other end of this, and I think as bookends, that's just going to be a nice complement to how we're going to be able to steer families a little bit more into a more sustainable life. So thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Yes, Representative Hart, you're recognized.
I will just say I echo what you said, and I am grateful that we're taking a holistic approach to this issue because all before it's been you go get a job and your benefits are just gone. And that's a very difficult transition. So I thank you for that.
Representative Coster, you're recognized in debate.
Thank you, Chair, and I think Dana did a great job of being a squishy chair fine. So I just want to thank you, Adam. I know this has been years in the making. I know this has been something that our speaker has been really passionate about, and there's been lots of studies, and it's a very complex issue. It feels simple when you describe it and when you talk about it because you've done so very eloquently, but it's a very complex issue, and the studies that have come back, you know, I've been working with Hillary on them, and it's very complex, and we've done a really great job of picking out the pieces that will really move the needle in a positive direction for families to give them a hand up and not a handout. And so thank you for really taking the charge on this and doing such a great job. Look forward to seeing it get across the finish line.
Members, anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Okay, well, briefly, I want to highlight one part of the bill that I like that we didn't talk that much about. You know, one of the problems is when you pay people to work, pay people not to work who could work, it turns out a lot of them take advantage and don't work. And one of the great parts about this bill is it is going to increase work requirements on a certain population today that gets these benefits, but faces no work requirements. And so those folks will now have to go and work if they want to keep them. And I think that's a great thing to do to get people off of these programs. So I'm excited to support it. Representative Anderson, you're recognized to close on your bill.
Thank you, Chair Fine, and thank you, members, for your comments and collaboration over the last few weeks. Rep. Coster, I don't think I can sum it up any better. You know that we're looking to provide hand-ups, not handouts, and that's exactly the intent of this bill. I'm a numbers guy. I always think about what's the economic impact if we're going to spend money. I'm a fiscal conservative. I don't want to spend money for handouts. But we have the fact is we have these programs and they're not working the way that they should. So it's our job to make sure that they are as efficient as possible with an ultimate goal of getting individuals off these programs. And to put that into numbers, the survey that you had mentioned, Rep. Trabolsi from the chamber, was 5.3 billion of lost economic output due to childcare. So if just 10% of that is solved, 530 million, we spend 23 million on a program like this, I think that's a pretty good ROI. With that, I close.
Sabrina, please call the roll on CS for HB 1267 and announce the vote.
Representatives Barrero,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Skidmore,
Yes.
Amnesty,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Dunkley,
Yes.
Edmonds,
Yes.
Grant, Hart,
Yes.
Coster,
Yes.
Masula,
Yes.
Persons Mullica,
Yes.
Lakin, Salzman,
Yes.
Snyder, Trabuzzi,
Yes.
Tuck,
Yes.
Woodson,
Yes.
Yurkowski, Chair Fine,
Yes.
19 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. Chair.
Show the bill reported favorably.